afternoon to you. I'm Meredith Stutz. We begin with breaking news. There are now 9,500 cases of coronavirus in North Carolina. That is an increase of 426 just from yesterday. The state health department released these new numbers moments ago. 463 patients are in the hospital with COVID-19 symptoms. Sadly, there are 36 more deaths due to the coronavirus, bringing our state total to now 342. State health officials say more than 112,000 people have been tested, but for context, that's about 1% of North Carolina's total population. Here in the Piedmont Triad, there are 1,048 cases of coronavirus you see on your screen. Guilford County has the most with 331. Forsyth County has nearly 180. Sadly, 44 people in our area have lost their lives due to COVID-19. We do have some good news this afternoon. 347 people have recovered. Those numbers come to us from Guilford, Forsyth, Davidson, Alamance, Rockingham, Wilkes, and Yadkin counties. You can find more information on the local case count right now over at WXII12.com. Happening now, North Carolina lawmakers are back at work. Item number 1 on the agenda, approving money to fight the coronavirus. This is a look at the House chamber, which began its session moments ago. Lawmakers will be meeting for only a few days, though. They're expected to approve bills deciding how $1.4 billion in federal relief funds are distributed. Republican legislative leaders and Governor Roy Cooper say they're largely in agreement on that package. North Carolina health officials warn people to be mindful of additional symptoms that can come with COVID-19. Of course, watch out for fever, cough, and shortness of breath, but it's also important to make a note if you have chills, repeated muscle shaking with chills, headaches, sore throat, or loss of taste and smell. Symptoms show up to 2 to 14 days after exposure to the virus, and because of that window, North Carolina officials are waiting for numbers of cases to level off.
But I think a sustained leveling is reasonable for North Carolina to consider as we think about reopening, but we need to see that sustained period of time.
The state is also screening test reports for possible errors as well. This afternoon, Governor Roy Cooper will give an update on the coronavirus response here in North Carolina. Members of the state coronavirus task force will join him. They will speak at 2 o'clock this afternoon, and you can watch that live right here on WXII 12 and our website, WXII12.com. And more breaking news this afternoon, the ACC says the men's basketball tournament will return to the Greensboro Coliseum in 2023. The tournament was in the Triad this year, but was cut short and ended up being canceled after 2 days of play due to COVID-19. The Greensboro Coliseum has hosted the ACC tournament 27 times, more than any other venue. A popular barbecue business in the Triad is closing permanently due to the coronavirus pandemic. That's according to our partners at the High Point Enterprise. The owner of Carter Brothers Barbecue Ribs and Catering tells the paper the economic uncertainty caused by COVID-19 made it just too difficult to stay open. Carter Brothers had been in business for 23 years. This year's Winston-Salem Greek Festival is being postponed due to the coronavirus concerns. The Greek Festival was supposed to happen next month, but organizers posted on their Facebook page that they are delaying the event due to restrictions on large gatherings. A rescheduled date has not been announced just yet. A dog in Chapel Hill has tested positive for the coronavirus. It's the first known positive case of a dog in the United States. The discovery was made when members of the McLean family participated in a study at Duke University. Researchers tested family members and their pets for COVID-19. Heather McLean says their dog Winston was experiencing mild symptoms.
Dogs are a little unusual that they cough and sneeze in a very strange way. So it was almost seemed like he was very gaggy, and there was one day he didn't really want to eat his breakfast. And if you know pugs, they really love to eat. So that seemed very unusual.
Along with the dog, 3 members of the family also tested positive for COVID-19. The family says Winston was only sick for a few days and is doing much better. There's a COVID-19 outbreak at a turkey processing plant in eastern North Carolina. Memos from Butterball's CEO says more than 50 employees at the plant near Mount Olive had COVID-19. That plant is a major employer in the area.
I think it needs to close if it has any employees in it. You know, it's just a spread if you don't do something about it.
A Butterball spokesperson says people have recovered from the virus and returned to work at the plant. The Duplin County Health Department is monitoring the outbreak by contact tracing and has not told Butterball to close that plant. Happening now, the group Reopen NC is taking over the streets in the state capitol. This is its third week of demonstration to get Governor Cooper to lift the stay-at-home order. The group says the stay-at-home order violates constitutional rights. One of the leaders of that group, Audrey Whitlock, says she has recovered from coronavirus. In a post on Facebook, she said her 2-week quarantine ended on Sunday. Forsyth County's Hall of Justice is back open to the public this afternoon. The building was closed for cleaning last week when a courthouse employee tested positive for COVID-19. Those who had contact and close contact with that worker are asked to not return to work for 14 days. The Forsyth County Clerk of Court's bookkeeping department, though, will remain closed until May the 4th. The Trump administration says it will work with the states to help ramp up coronavirus testing. Tracy Potts is in Washington with more on that, plus more problems with the latest batch of small business loans.
The federal government's new blueprint to help states includes setting up more coronavirus test sites in stores and minority communities to double testing from 1% to 2%.
And ensuring that we work together to make sure that every client receives the tests that they need.
2% of Americans getting tested every month. Way too little. I mean, it would take us 4 years to test every American.
10 states are starting to reopen against federal guidelines under pressure from business owners and unemployed workers.
We're going to be broke. I mean, the real broke.
As restrictions are eased, President Trump predicts schools may be next.
They may be ready to open up their school systems. We'll see, but that's their choice. But the word is safety, okay? Rapid, but safety.
Small businesses seeking $310 billion in new funding faced technical problems and delays.
Business leaders and the unemployed, they need to see some light and they need to have some hope that we can move beyond.
As Washington promises to work with states, the Justice Department is directing prosecutors to look for stay-home orders that go too far, violating Americans' freedoms to be out and about with this virus still spreading. Health experts say testing is critical now that states are scaling back restrictions and people will be in close proximity again. The CDC says 1 in 4 people who have this virus have no symptoms, so they may not know it, but they can spread it. Tracy Potts, NBC News.
That report. We do have more breaking news out of Virginia this afternoon. The state is reporting more than 800 new cases of COVID-19. Right now, there are more than 14,000 total cases in the Commonwealth. 2,100 patients are being treated in hospitals. Unfortunately, 34 more people have died from the coronavirus in Virginia, pushing the total to close to 500. More than 82,000 people in Virginia have been tested for COVID-19, and as for context, like in North Carolina, that's only about 1% of the state's population. New at noon for you, a Winston-Salem nonprofit is on a mission to make sure low-income people have a mask to prevent the coronavirus from spreading. The 20 handed out masks and cleaning supplies this morning at the Cleveland Avenue homes. The group got a donation of masks from Mask the City and decided to distribute them to those who may not have one. Organizers say they wanted to do this to keep people safe.
We've adopted a strategy of prevention, which says that since we don't have testing, we're trying to get people to be careful about being around, cleaning and getting things sanitized and that kind of thing.
Thank you.
The group hopes to get a nurse to come in and screen people for coronavirus in future distributions. They also want to set up a laundromat to help people wash clothes during this pandemic. Happening now, a man is charged with murder in the death of a Greensboro woman. Police arrested 41-year-old Levon Lemon this morning. He's in jail without bond. Investigators believe he killed 54-year-old Deidre Ingrid Hope. Officers found her body at a home on Rugby Street just before 11 o'clock last night. Detectives have not said how she died. Police have notified her family. A man shot multiple times in Winston-Salem is recovering in the hospital this afternoon. Police say he is not cooperating with them, though. Officers found 30-year-old Dominic McKinney last night on Kirby Street. That's just off Old Lexington Road, you see there. Investigators tell us McKinney was shot by someone while he was standing in the road. That suspect ran off before officers arrived. An Alamance County woman is arrested for holding a woman hostage at gunpoint for 2 hours during a standoff. 35-year-old Justine Shook is in jail facing felony kidnapping and assault charges. Deputies say she pointed a gun at the woman at a home on Keene Drive Monday afternoon. That's south of Graham. The sheriff's office believes it started as a domestic dispute with a man at the home. Investigators say Shook also pointed a gun at the man, who then left that scene. Deputies tell us the woman was able to escape while negotiators talked to Shook. All 3 people involved live at the same address.